record here. Hey everybody, you're listening to the Nostalgia Blend. I'm your host, Wandering Saunders. Wherever you are, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or anywhere in between. So when you guys listen to this, you guys go ahead and say, "Hey, I am listening to this. I want to know how this is gonna go." So I am here with my special guest, as I made a promise for everybody on the last several of my shows. I'm gonna go ahead and let him introduce himself. Go ahead.
Hey everybody, how you doing? My name is Dave Fenoy, and I am a voice actor. I do some of everything, but I'm best known for my work in video games and then cartoons. But I have a saying, since I've been doing this in Los Angeles since 1990, if you haven't heard my voice, you haven't been listening.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys a little inside things. He's done several things that I've enjoyed over the years, from my mm, late childhood to my teens to my adults. But I'll name a few here. He has done Batman. He played as Lucius Fox. That's right, guys. In the cartoon,
In two different Batman Arkham Knights and Telltale Batman.
which you know what, I actually have the games. They finally got it on the uh the handheld device.
Mhm.
It's not the Wii, but it's the other one that you've seen kids have. It's like looks like that very big like looking thing. Yeah, I
Yeah.
have that. I have all three games on one cartridge.
Wow, there you go.
So yeah, he's also guys. If you are a huge Star Wars fan, he actually does a voice of one of the generals who is a how do I put this?
A
It
traitor. He's a traitor. General Pong Krell from Star Wars: The Clone Wars, a cartoon series, and it's a five episode arc. When we meet General Pong Krell, he is a tough general fighting on the side of the resistance, but he becomes a traitor. Oh.
ooh, that gives me shivers, especially when a Jedi isn't supposed to technically be a traitor. But of course, you got Anakin Skywalker, you got oh
Well, the biggest traitors were Jedi's beforehand. They learned to use the power, and then they went to the dark side.
ooh,
But you know what? A lot of people don't know. I also played in a couple other Star Wars games. One of my very first game gigs was with the Pod Racer game, and the whole thing's in Huttese. The
wow.
language of Jabba the Hutt. I play three characters. The whole thing is shouted. And in that session, uh, because it was 5 hours long, it was before we had protections for our voices. The next day, I couldn't speak because I'd been shouting in Huttese for 5 hours.
Wow.
And I was supposed to do an announce for ESPN a couple days later, had to cancel, and that guy has never hired me again.
Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna say this now. If I get anybody who's from that area who listens to my podcast by miracle, hire him back, please. Hire him back. He's a great voice actor. I'm telling you, I'm like, I enjoy listening to your voice when you've done uh the voice in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Played Korath,
Yep,
which was the Jaimin Hansu part in the movie.
nice. Kim Possible
Gosh, I forget the character I played in Kim
is
Possible.
the exterminator.
The Exterminator. There you go. But you know what, Dave? I have been in about 600 video games and dozens of cartoons.
Oh, I have it right here.
And over the course of the years, you sometimes forget that you did this job or that job. One of the things that happens with video games as well, uh, you get you audition and you don't know what the real name of the game is. You do the work, you don't know what the real name of the game is. And then 6 months later, a year later, the game comes out and it's announced, but you might not know that that was the game that you did 6 months, a year ago.
Wow.
So sometimes, even as an actor, we're in the dark, and we're always working by ourselves. You might work ensemble when you're doing cartoons, animation, but video games, 99% of the time, as a matter of fact, more than 99%, 99 and 44 is 100% of the time, you're working by yourself, and you don't find out about your friends who are also in the game until the game comes out. Oh yeah, you're in that too. Oh man, how you know? It's kind of crazy.
Oh yeah. So I'm gonna actually let's see here. The very first thing you've ever done for animation was the New Kids on the Block.
Wow, you're going way back.
Uh,
1990.
1990. So my sister and I grew up listening to them. I'm gonna be 43. My
Uh-huh.
sister, my no, actually, I'm gonna be 42. My sister's 43.
Hmm.
We both we're between Gen X and millennial. Okay. So one thing I always tell people, I'm like my sister and I, we got the best of both worlds. Like, how's that? I'm like, one, we didn't have to have cell phones yet. Two, we didn't have laptops. We grew up where Wi-Fi was just beginning,
Yeah. Yeah.
the internet and stuff. They're like, you're old. I'm like, I'd rather be old than wet behind the ears.
Well, hopefully those people who are wet behind the ears one day will be old. Uh,
Yes.
that's what we should all be striving for, to get as old as we can, as healthy as we can, see as much as we can, enjoy
Yes.
life as much as we can.
Okay. So first question off. This because like I said, this is called the nostalgia blend. Out of all the holidays growing up, what was your favorite as a kid?
Well, I'm gonna say Christmas, because as a kid, Christmas you got gifts. Uh,
Yes.
that's
Yes.
we're kids for the most part. We're pretty greedy typically, and Christmas comes around. Santa Claus is going to bring us some stuff we want. So I think probably Christmas. As I got older, I think Thanksgiving became the
Yeah,
holiday
I think
that I
because
love.
maybe because family was more of a thing as we get older, that we want to spend more time with family because they have such, as they get older, they have such a short lifespan up at a certain point, and
Well,
sometimes
it doesn't seem short till you're close to the end.
true, true. Hey, you know what? I've always loved Christmas. Want to know something?
What's that?
My birthday's in December.
Oh, you see, that's a terrible time to have a birthday.
No,
You
actually, because
get one shoe for your birthday, another shoe for Christmas.
in my family, my mom made it clear is that you don't get presents all at once. You get it separated. That's fine with me.
Oh, that
I'm
was good.
Yeah, I was born on the 22nd
Of December.
of December.
Yeah.
I was given to my mom in a Christmas stocking on the
Oh.
24th when I was yeah, yeah, on the
So you
24th of
so
December.
you yourself were a Christmas present.
Yes, to my mom.
There you go.
Yes. Okay. So okay, so out of all the characters you've played on all the video games, what is those that stuck out the most for you for the jobs that you did?
Well, there are a number of them. Um, One of the first it was actually one of the very first games I did, but uh, Star Wars, no, World of Warcraft.
Okay.
Uh, I didn't understand how big video games were at the time that I started doing video games because I wasn't playing them. I just thought of them as another form of animation. And so when I started to get those gigs, oh, okay, it's not going to television, but people are playing these games. I love playing these characters. It's going to be fun. So I did Gabriel Tosh for World of StarCraft, World of Warcraft, Vol'jin, Leader of the Horde. And for a long time, I had no idea that these were a couple of the biggest games in the world. Several years later, somebody hit me to the fact they put together a demo of work I had done. And because I was not a gamer, I didn't know how popular these games were. But Vol'jin, Leader of the Horde, is still one of the most popular characters. And then about 2011 or so, 2012, I was hired to replace a voice on a video game called the Walking Dead game from Telltale. They had hired somebody to play Lee Everett, and apparently, after they had done the first season, they decided, you know what, we're not feeling this guy. We need somebody else. I got a call, would like you to audition for this. I did. I thought, wow, this is pretty good. This is just the audition script was good. I auditioned a week later. They told me you've won the role of Lee Everett, and the next month, I live in Los Angeles. They started flying me up to a little town in Northern California, Fairfax in Marin County,
Oh, wow.
working at a little studio, little private studio, Studio Jory. Unfortunately, Jory, the engineer, is no longer with us. He was a avid motorcyclist and
Yeah, that happened. That
had,
happened.
had a crash and hung on for about a month and finally passed. But I knew in the first 20 minutes of recording that this was something special. I didn't realize how special until the first episode came out and the game press was just blown away by the wonderful acting. And I'm not going to say just my wonderful acting, but the ensemble cast
Yes.
was just very strong. Now, I thought it was very funny to me that they talked about how great the acting was. They didn't mention the names of any of the actors.
I think
Uh,
maybe just give them all the the congratulations, awesome job. Not just the single person themselves, but the whole entire cast.
yeah, but if you're a good journalist, you're going to find out the names of those people.
Yeah,
Uh,
true.
the thing everybody wants in this life, no matter what you're doing, is recognition. You're walking down the street, you say hello to somebody, you just want somebody else to say hello back. And
Mhm.
that's from uh, the richest person to the
To the
poorest person.
lowest
We all
person.
crave being recognized, just
True.
seen, just seen.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
I was a little miffed, and I wrote to a couple of them and said, "Hey, yeah, you mentioned the great acting. You didn't mention any of the actors. I play Lee Everett. This person plays this. Melissa Hutchinson plays this, so forth and so on." And I thought I was going to get, well, we're not worried about the acting. They, oh, really? Great. We didn't know. And so they started mentioning the cast members, which was a wonderful idea. And as we were recording that first season, we got to episode 3 or 4,
Hmm.
and I was so blown away by all the other performers that one time when I was up doing some recording, I got the director to invite as many of the cast members as possible, and we all had dinner at this little Thai restaurant, and that was just great. And so many of those voice actors from the Walking Dead game are doing very, very, very well now.
That's awesome to hear. All right, so let's see here. Um, there was one picture I saw. Just to let everybody know, he and I are Facebook friends, so I get to see what he says, and he gets to see what I say. The one picture that touched me the most was he was one of my favorite actors. He did both Lion King, he did Star
Oh,
Wars, but the main one that got me was one of the best roles that he ever did was in Roots.
Yeah.
The late great James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones, when I first came to LA, my agents were pushing me as a young James Earl Jones because I can have gravitas in my voice. That Luke, you are my son. And so they were trying to, hey, here's a young James Earl Jones for video games and cartoons and commercials and whatnot. And I actually kind of fought it a little bit, much as I love James Earl Jones, because I feel like I don't want to be something else. I want to be not
You.
not the young James Earl Jones, but the Dave Fennoy.
But you, it is such an awesome thing to be able to meet the person who basically
Ah,
paved the
you saw
way.
that post. You saw that post.
I saw that post. I literally am like, I was just thinking, like, wow, we've lost so many people. In a short period of time frame between this summer.
Yeah,
And
some of the
what hit me
greats.
the most was when James Earl Jones passed. At least not only was he my childhood, but I got to see like the movie Roots. I saw that when I was in junior high school area, because they showed it in the history class. They did it for Black History Month. They actually showed that movie. They had everybody get permission from their parents. They showed it first half one day and the second half the next. They said you can stay during your lunchtime to finish the movie, or come back. You'll miss about a full portion of it. So I decided you know what? I'll eat my lunch here. I ate my lunch there. They actually ordered pizza for us.
Pizza in a movie. Hey, that's great.
Yes, it was on a Friday. It was on a
Yeah.
Friday. It was because they were starting Black History Month Friday, because that at that time frame they didn't know when to start and stuff. So they started first week of February. They figured they start Friday because it allows people to finish homework that was non-Black History Month related and stuff all the other days. So they did that. Um, they didn't end it until maybe 3 days into March.
Hmm.
They gave it a little extra.
Yeah, because it's the shortest month.
Yes,
Black History Month become the shortest month. What's going on?
I know, right? And they did that. I'm like, I'm watching that. I'm like, how? Of course, he was also in Conan the Barbarian,
Oh yeah.
one of the movies.
He was in a lot of movies. He's also well known as a wonderful stage actor.
Yes.
Um, he did an amazing role from August Wilson's uh, one of August Wilson plays Fences,
Okay.
and
Okay.
where he plays the father and husband. Um, and that role was reprised by Denzel Washington also in a movie
Wow.
not so long ago. But he was just an amazing actor, and we hear his voice, and we think
Hmm.
it's about the voice. It's about the voice, and I get that from people wanting to do voiceover all the time.
It's
It's not about the voice. It's about connecting with your audience here and here.
yes, yes. That's what I've been telling people. Cause I get people because when I've talked with people, and I've told them, hey, I've met actors. Like really? I'm like, yeah. Like how are they? I'm like, they're just like us. They get their pants on one leg at a time. They
And
get their
their
shoes
farts
on.
stink.
What's that?
Our farts stink,
There you go.
just like
Uh,
everybody else's.
I'm like, I told them, I'm like, here's the thing. They try to make sure they connect with people. For me, I connect with the actors because I see them for who they are. They're a person just like us. And I told them, I'm like, see, they not only they connect us here, but they also do it here. The emotions that they use, both in front of the camera and behind the camera, doing voices, they're using actual emotions on some of the most things because that may actually have happened to them in real life. And a lot of people won't believe that. They're like, "Oh no, they're just acting. That's why they
Well,
went to acting school."
you have to pull from your own experiences, your own emotions,
Yes,
uh,
and so
when you're playing somebody that's angry or sad,
yeah,
hurt, so forth and so on.
yeah. For example, if I became an actor back after my dad passed, I would if they had me doing like scenes that are angry. I would have used this part of when my dad died, and I wasn't with him at the time,
Yeah,
and I would have probably blown away the scene.
yeah.
But let's see here.
Going back to James Earl Jones, I had a chance to meet him. There's an award show for voice acting, SOVAS, the Voice Arts Awards, and I was a booth announcer at the first couple of those, and he was awarded. And
Nice.
before he makes his entrance on stage, he had to sit next to me. I'm with my microphone and whatnot, and I'm like, wow, it's one of my heroes. He's right here. So I said hello, and we had a chance to chit chat a little bit, and I asked if I could take a selfie with him. And I pulled out my camera and, set it up and did the selfie. And he told me that was his very first selfie.
Nice.
He had never
You
done that before.
feel honored, don't you?
Yeah, I do. And one of the things too is, there's a old saying, don't meet your heroes because they're going
Uh-huh.
to let you down. He did not let me down. Now, I realize it was just a few moments. I don't know the real him in any true way like a wife might or family might.
Mm-hmm.
But the kindness that came through, the openness, the genuineness, uh, says something because sometimes we do meet people that have a little fame, little money, little something,
Mm-hmm.
and they're snooty and uh, which is why sometimes you don't want to meet your heroes because
That's true.
they'll let you down.
Yeah.
But he
It,
did not let me down. James Earl Jones did not let me down.
yeah. So, what was growing up? What is some of the things that you would um that- what was some of the things that you would love to see when you were a kid come back now as
Mighty
an adult?
Mouse. I
Okay.
loved Mighty Mouse as a kid. And I'd love to see them update and bring a Mighty Mouse cartoon or even a Mighty Mouse movie that they could do with, well, so many ways to do it
Oh yes.
with animation and whatnot. But I used to love Mighty Mouse. When I was a kid, we didn't have Amazon. It's almost about the time you order something. Sometimes it's there later that day.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I wanted a Mighty Mouse shirt that I saw on the back of a cereal box, and it was a little T-shirt that said on the front it had a picture of Mighty Mouse that said "Here comes Mighty Mouse," and it had a cape.
Oh, so cool.
And on the back of the cape it said "There goes Mighty Mouse." So I got my parents to, write me the check. I don't know what it was, 10.95. It might have been less. And of course, it said allow 6 to 8 weeks for delivery. Well, when you're, a kid, 6 to 8 weeks is a long time.
It feels like it's been a year.
Yeah. But I finally got that thing and I wore it everywhere and ultimately wore it out.
Wow.
And it's one of the things I know my mother threw it away at some point when it had gotten old or didn't fit anymore. I wish I still had that Mighty Mouse t-shirt.
You know what? I think, there are some printing shops would probably make one for you.
Yeah, but it's not the same as that OG one.
Oh yeah, I know, right? I know,
Yeah,
right?
I
Not
don't
the same as the original. It
know.
never is. What's okay? So you've done several cons so far, right? Because I know
I've done, I've done Comic Con in San Diego. I've done Dragon Con. I was up there
yep,
uh, in Medford, Oregon. I've
Metal Art Comic Con.
Yeah, Meadowlark. I've done a number of cons. Um, Probably not as many as I might have, or some other voice actors with similar resumes.
Okay. So what out of things what was some of your favorite things that you've done? Because I know when I'm gone and stuff, the actors don't always walk around, but there's some who do. So I figured you've probably gone to the when you've gone to San Diego, you
You know,
probably
I'm typically one that walks around, and I'm just going to say this: Comic-Con in San Diego is not my favorite con.
oh
It's
wow,
too big.
too
It's
big.
too corporate. It's just gigantic. You're talking about 75 to 100,000 people every day.
Wow, hand
Uh,
cramp.
yeah, and it's very corporate run. There's one Dragon Con in Atlanta,
Okay,
is more fan based,
nice,
and the costumes that are people are wearing are better. The interaction between fans and celebrities, you have more opportunities for that.
cool.
As one of the celebrities, I have more opportunity to meet my fans and say hello and shake hands. Now, maybe everybody doesn't want to do that, um, but I like the idea of being able to get one on one. Even you're talking 30 seconds, a
Mm-hmm.
minute. Hey, how you
Mm-hmm.
doing? Nice to meet you. I'll tell you what else that did for me. I have a sister who's a doctor, my older sister, and of course I always teased her. She's doing important work, doing medical research and saving people's lives. I always felt like I'm just having fun as an actor until I started going to cons and meeting fans who a character I played who was not me touched their lives. People would tell you how much this role meant to them, how much, especially with Lee Everett. I didn't have a father in my life. Lee Everett became my father figure.
Okay,
Um, I had a poor relationship, so forth and so on, that Lee Everett filled a gap in their life. Now, I'm not trying to take credit for that, uh, but to have been a person that touched their life, even though this wasn't my purpose, but to know that somehow my performance touched somebody's life in a positive way, man, uh, doesn't get much better than that.
that's awesome. Because I know for me, the first person I got to meet was Mindy Sterling. Very first
Ah,
Comic Con I got to go to. So I met her and I told her how much the movies, each actor and actress who's there touched me, in a way because I was in a bad place. Because when my dad died,
hmm,
I was so full of anger and stuff. I blamed myself. I tried I've tried doing stuff that would like harming myself and stuff.
hmm,
But if it hadn't been for those movies, for those actors' characters, knowing that they're acting, but they got that real feeling, just like me. If it wasn't for them and stuff, I would probably be still angry with myself and all that. If it hasn't been for for the actors who've actually gone through things, yeah. So it's just one of those things. It's just each person has their own thing. And so it is appreciated to every actor I've talked to, every voice actor. You guys are appreciated. And
well, thank
we appreciate everything you've done. The entertainment, the being able to actually meet you guys at a con, to talk with you. Because you guys have probably gone through the same thing that we've gone through. Yeah, those actors who have the money and stuff, who act snotty and stuff, they may act like a nice, good person on camera, but off camera they may not be. type thing. So you're appreciated. One more question before we have to get ready to wrap this up. If you can go ahead, go back in time and tell your young self something, what would it be?
Oh boy. Um, what would it be? What would it be? What would it be? Uh, Relax, calm down. Everything's going to be okay. Um, life is a series of choices, especially once we become adults. But we're making choices even as kids. Do I eat that cookie? Do I not eat that cookie? Do I? And of course, when you're young, you're very likely to make childish decisions as a
Yeah.
child. Um, I want to pat myself on the back for some of the good choices I made, and I'm shaking my head and wondering about my sanity for some of the poor choices I've made. And I'm thankful to that omnipotent power that I have been able to have a wonderful life despite myself.
Okay, so let's see here. If you want, we've got about 4 minutes left. About 4 minutes left. You got any questions for me? I'd be willing to give it a go.
I don't have questions. I would just like to say to your audience, uh, thank you very much for being here, for listening to me. For those of you who may wish to become voice actors, one of the things I do is teach. My mother was a school teacher, and she used to say, "Son, now you want to do all these artsy fartsy things and go to art school and so forth. Well, you might want to get a teaching degree." No, Mom, I don't want to teach. And now one of my favorite things to do is teach voiceover. So if you have some acting background or you'd like to be an actor and you'd like to work with somebody who has done this, you can go to my website, davefenoy.com. Click on the Study VO tab at the top. Happy to help. You can book yourself. Also, every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific, or I should say most Wednesday nights, sometimes something gets in the way. I do a thing called Ask Dave Fenoy Anything, and I answer questions about voiceover. And I bring on other voiceover actors and directors and equipment people, and we talk about their careers and share advice on furthering your career as a voice actor.
And I do believe you have a YouTube page.
Oh yeah, all the Ask Dave Fenoy Anythings live on my YouTube channel, Dave Fenoy Voiceover Training. Dave Fenoy Voiceover Training. As a matter of fact, if you go on YouTube and just click my name, it'll probably pop up along with a number of videos of things that I've done.
Yes, yes. Also, guys, if you have uh Facebook, you can look Dave Fenoy up, and you want. I do believe he has a fan page or an area where you can just click his name. Boom, it'll bring up. It'll also bring up. If you want to friend him, I think he wouldn't mind, and then you'd be able to go ahead, put your alerts on to be able to see his
Oh yeah,
lives when he comes on.
yeah, yeah. My Ask Dave Fenoy Anything shows up on Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, X, and YouTube all at the same time,
See?
Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific.
All right. So, all right, Dave. Thank you so very much. So,
Well, Dave Sanders, thank you very much for inviting me to be a part of your podcast. And it's been a pleasure. It was a pleasure meeting you at Metal
pleasure.
Art Comic Con. Uh,
Yes.
and if I'm up there again, I'll be happy to see you in person.
Oh, yes. I might do is we see I might schedule us for next year for May the 4th.
Okay. All right.
So, all right, you guys. I am your host, Wandering Saunders. You're listening to the Nostalgia Blend. Everybody have a great day. Bye bye.